Hi, I'm Mike, a Technical Product Marketing Manager at Forward Networks. In today's video, we will introduce NQE If-Else Expressions. An if expression allows a variable to be assigned a value depending on if an expression returns true or false. What exactly does that mean, you might be asking? Let's take a look at a basic programming test for an if statement. So let's print out even if the number is even and odd if the number is odd. So let's create a new query. Call it if expressions. And let's take our query. We're going to see a new operator called the modulo operator. All the modulo operator does is, in this case, if the number modulo 2 is 0, so any even number, it's not going to have a remainder, then we're going to return even. Anything else, we're going to return the number. So if we execute this, we see that there's a bunch of issues. There's a bunch of problems with the query. So it's saying on line 16, the branches of the if statement are not the same type. One's a string and one's a number. This is an important concept to bring back up. NQE is a statically typed language. So when you're returning something, if you're especially in this if statement, the data types must match. So how can we do this? We can take the else and we can cast that into what we call toString, which is a string function that will take a number, turn it into a string. Now we're comparing, or now we're going to return a string, or we're going to return another string. And then when we execute this, we see that we get even the odd number 1, even the odd number 3, and then even. So you may be thinking, Mike, this is great, but how can I get meaningful data from my network? Hang tight, we're getting there now. So we're going to create a NQE query that's going to do a configuration audit, and it's going to look at several vendors' DNS configuration to make sure that the DNS servers that are configured are constant across the network, and it's what we expect them to be. We're going to introduce a new term plus a new concept called block patterns, where we can match or extract device configuration and use that for configuration patterns. We will cover this. We will cover block matches in a video, which will be linked down below. So this configuration looks like the following. Let's paste it in here and let's talk about it. So we have our DNS addresses that we're looking for. We have specifically what iOS XE is looking for. You may notice this plus operator. We'll also discuss that when we talk about block matches. What the plus means is if it matches one or more, if you get one or more match, it will actually return those matches. But we'll cover that in the block matches video. So we have iOS XE, where we have the configuration snippet for DNS. We have the Arista one for Palo Alto, one for Cisco ASA, and then a generic one. So now what we're doing is we're iterating over our network devices, and we're saying, all right, every OS we want the variable OS to be the platform or the device OS that is going through the loop at the time. And then our if statement is assigned to our DNS pattern. So what we're saying is if the OS is, in the first case, Pan OS, then we want to assign the Palo Alto config snippet. Same with iOS XE, we want to assign the iOS XE config snippet, Arista, ASA, and then if none of them match, we want to assign the generic. So now we want to go to DNS result. So what we want to do is we want to look at the device files configuration and we want to match the DNS pattern. So we're looking like, all right, let's take this, and now we have it. Then we're gonna, since we're dealing with a loop, since we're dealing with another list of the configuration elements, we want to take the result of that and iterate over that. And when you use the plus operator, that also turns this particular piece of code we're looking at into a list. So we need to iterate over that too. And now finally, we want to see if it's in compliance. So does the IP address that is in the DNS result, is that in our list of DNS addresses? And then we're going to return what the device name is, the OS, what the configured DNS servers are, and if that particular device is in violation. So what we're doing is we're saying if the device is not in compliance, we want to raise a violation on this. And if this was added to verify, every time a snapshot is taken of the network, we'll analyze it. And if there is a violation, we can either send an email alert, or if there's an integration with ServiceNow, we can spin up a ServiceNow incident ticket. So when we click execute, we see that we're getting the device name, what the OS is, what the configured DNS servers are, and if that device is in violation or not. So if we want to filter on violation true, we see we have a couple of ASAs that are configured with the incorrect DNS server. And if this was added to verify, like I was saying before, this would trigger an email, or if there was a ServiceNow integration, then this would spin up a ServiceNow ticket, and then the appropriate teams can look and triage. That's all for if expressions. What have you used if expressions for? Share your queries in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.